Good evening. Issa Vernon here, Club Meets Director for Nevada Utah Conference, and I'm continuing my discussion about adventure clubs and family participation. So many clubs, it's pretty regular. They come to me and say, "We have a problem. I can't get the families involved. I don't have enough families helping. I'm doing it by myself, me and a few core staff people. How do I get the families involved?" And we're continuing that discussion. It's sort of a part 2 or 3 now. In the last video, I talked about part of it's how we talk about it, right? When we talk about adventures, a lot of times we talk about the kids and not the families. So we talked about changing our language, how we talk about we want the adventure families. I'm going to talk about in this one looking at the calendar a little bit better, okay? And discussing it from an adventure family point of view and not just an adventure or staff leadership point of view, okay? So, the first thing, the calendar. When you bring the calendar in, it should not just be you and your core staff. It should be you and all the adventure families. You got 30 kids. It should be you and 30 plus family members. Ideally, it's about 60, right? And you guys are going to have a serious discussion about the calendar for the year. And it might take more than one meeting. But your adventure family meetings for planning the year every year in August, it's, you're going to bring a general outline before the meeting starts, right? You got a PowerPoint or maybe a I suddenly forgot the words. A spreadsheet. With a calendar template on it, maybe, right? And you got all the conference events in, the major holidays in, when your club does its normal meetings, because that's usually already decided, right? Like, church boards approved the adventures to meet every other week, or first and third, or second and fourth, or every week, or whatever have you, right? Once a month on the fourth Sabbaths, or whatever your church already previously approved, right? Sometimes that's completely out of your control, actually. Sometimes churches tell you that that's when you're meeting. Or some churches, you come tell the church board this when we're meeting. Whatever. However your church goes, who cares? We're getting the weeds. All right. Back to the families. You are going to come in. You have the rough outline for the year, but now you need the adventure families, and you need them to help plan the year, okay? You can't just dictate the year to them. You need to come in and go, hey, this is the rough overview of the year we have, and we need to fill it out with some fun activities and games. Here's some of my ideas I got right here, and let's look at it and see what we're going to do for the year. And then there, you start with, staff meeting is like here at the beginning of the year, and we're right here, family / staff meeting for the adventures right here. That's us on the calendar right there. You start with that, and then you move forward to all the way to the end of the year. You go, okay, here's our family meetings for planning. That's August, September, first Sabbath in September, or last Sabbath in August. Something. Okay, we're going to do sign up, and then the next Sabbath we're doing induction, and for the year, here's when the Adventure Bible is, and here's our family network meetings every month or every other month. Every month is better, but I do know some clubs you're still trying to get your hang of it. About 80% of our clubs last year didn't do it. It shows. The clubs that are doing it, you guys know the blessings you guys are getting. You gotta have the whole family buy-in. Like, okay, in the fall, I'd like us to go to the zoo. I got a deal for tickets to do the zoo. So I thought that'd be a good one, right? And then, but when would be good? You want all the families to buy in now. You're like, okay, I was thinking the first Sabbath or the first Sunday or whatever in October. And half your families say, oh, we can't do it. We're the church school's doing a thing that weekend. Like, oh, okay. How about the second weekend? Everybody looks at their calendars and is like, oh, looks like it's good. Oh, except for that one family, they can't make it. Like, oh, well, we got the majority. So, okay, we're going to lock that down. And you're just going to go through the whole calendar. You're going to look at everything and lock it in. Now, of course, there's some hard dates you can't mess with, right? Like the Adventure Bible Game Conference event, Conference Family Camp. They set those dates. You can't mess with those. So you just, that's FYI to the whole club. Like, okay, this is when these are happening, and this is how our club's going to support it. And you're going to talk about from the beginning of the year how all the families are going to support it. Okay? And, but everything needs to be a family game plan, right? And then you need to, as a club, talk about how you and your families are going to do everything as families. And it needs to be discussed here at these beginning of the year meetings, okay? This can't be at end of the year or halfway through the year. This it has to happen from day one. Families talking about how the families are going to do the activities, okay? This isn't drop off your kids and leave planned daycare activities, okay? You know, if you want to run a daycare, go get certified as a daycare person and charge everybody a lot of money and use the adventure curriculum for inspiration of activities during your daycare program. But this is adventures, you know, church families coming together to support each other in being their child's first and primary evangelist. Okay? This is evangelism. Alright? That's how seriously this planning meeting needs to be at the beginning of the year. When all these family members come together and plan the year, it needs to be taken as seriously as when the pastor brings the elders together and they plan evangelism. That's how serious you guys need to take this. Okay? So, next, each activity. I'm going to just fly down these here. Induction. It has to be family-centered. You can't be doing an induction where the kids just come in and there's some family in the back taking photos. You need to induct the families. Okay? 5 builders come in and they should have 5 builder families with them. Mom and dads. It should be a whole builder family, right? 5 builder families, not just 5 builder kids. Okay, every class. And those parents are the helpers for that class for the year. Unless they need to trade off of another class, like because they have more than one kid or something, right? You know. Usually parents go with the younger kids class because that class usually needs more help. But whatever they need to do. Maybe the class has so many hands helping that outside of certain activities, maybe those other adventure parents can, you know, they help with other things like security or setting up snacks. So when the kids come out of their class, the snacks are ready. Or maybe they're having a mission story. They come out and do a mission story. Or maybe you're a praise team leader, so maybe everybody does these praise songs and stuff before they go to their class. You know, everybody should have a responsibility, and they should take it, own it, work with it in the club, right? Different classes, sharing parents, you know, hey, we rotate who teaches the honors, or so-and-so teaches the honors, well, so-and-so does the reading of the stories, well, so-and-so does the songs. It's all right, it's fine. Rotate, sign roles, get a team for each role. Like, okay, you 3 parents are in charge of the craft table, you 3 parents are in charge of reading the lesson, and we're going to take turns on which week who's reading what. Because we have so many parents, we can do that, whatever. But the families should be involved. They should know they're involved. They know they should have roles that should all be assigned before the year. When you look at that calendar, hey, here, these are our meetings, and this is how everybody's involved in the average meeting. Everybody involved, right? And then you plan for the bigger events. Like, okay, conference has an adventure Bible game. We should start studying for it at the beginning of the year. So you need to get the parents all lined up and the kids. And like, okay, we're going to start studying. We're going to study these books. You should talk to the parents about studying the books with their kids. using it for like family devotion. It makes a great morning devotional or an evening devotional topic with the kids because you read a bit and you can talk a bit about the stories, the events that really bring it alive for your kids. I was scandalized. I visited a club this year, and they tried to give the chapters of study as a homework to the kids to study on their own without their parents. And I about blew a gasket because it's a family program. You study with the family, the parents. You empower the parents to study the Bible with their children. You don't just give it to a study assignment with their kids. I had that club. They didn't get it at all. There's one of the ones complaining they didn't have family involvement. Well, no wonder. If you're giving a family study assignment to the kids, that's not how it works, right? Families need to know they're involved from day one, and everything for the year, every activity, every activity, it's family. You look at the activity. How are we planning for mom and dad to be involved? How are the kids involved? What's the dynamic going on here? All the way through the year, all the way to investiture. In investiture, we invest the whole family. We recognize that Jilly did her Sunbeam class, and mom and dad both were there like 80% of the time this year, and they both got the Anchor in Christ Award for leading out in their family. And and don't worry that the parents have uniforms or not. A lot of times the parents, they're not going to have uniforms. Your core staff will, but most of the parents won't. And if they don't, wear a white blouse, blue pants, close enough. Or at least wear the neckerchief, but put those Anchor in Christ pins on them. Dads can use it for a tie tack. It's a very manly thing to show that you were actively involved in your child's child's primary evangelist for the year through the Adventure program. It's a serious thing to have, right? But everything should be involved family. And I visited a club this year, and they were telling me, we're canceling our adventure activity because we don't have enough drivers. And again, my brain just froze up for a moment. It was like, what? Wait a minute. You don't have enough drivers. Hold it. Mom drove her daughter here. Mom, with her daughter, now drive to the activity. Dad drove the family here. Why can't Dad drive them to the activity? That's where my mind was going. Apparently they're letting parents come and drop off their kids and leave. I was like, how many times I gotta tell you, this is not a babysitting service. Alright? If you're doing adventures right, there is no such thing as a shortage of drivers, unless maybe you're running an intercity program and everybody came on public transit. And then you might want to consider using public transit to go on your activity. But, right? It's a family program that shortage of drivers should not have been an issue if they were doing their program right. But everything, family. You're going to hear that a lot out of me. They wanted to take kids camping. I had another club. They wanted to take kids camping, and they wanted to know how the camping arrangements work. And I said, it's simple. The family brings their kid, the family camps in their family tent, and the family participates in the activities together. And I said, well, what if mom and dad can't come? I went, then Jilly can't come. Timmy can't come. That's how it is. But they're going to miss out on the blessings. I'm like, yes, that's true. You got it in one. But your bigger panic shouldn't be that Jimmy's missing out on blessings because he couldn't come. Your bigger panic should be Jimmy's family is missing out on the blessings because they couldn't come. See, when you tell me, and it doesn't matter any size club, I have this argument with leaders regularly who they like to pick up the kids and bring them to adventures because their family can't bring the kids. And I keep telling them, stop it. For many reasons, insurance reasons and other reasons, but they tell me, their argument is the kid's missing out on the blessings. Adventures is about family. You should be more worried that the family is missing out on the blessings. Your focus is helping families be their child's first and primary evangelist. When the family can't come, the family cannot evangelize their child. Think about that up here. Just let it sink in for a moment. If you're picking up the kids and just letting the parents have an easy out, yeah, the kids got a spiritual experience. That's good. But the family lost out on the opportunity to be their child's first and primary evangelist. Think of that. Think of that when you're planning, when you're making excuses as to help these families drop off their kids and leave you with the responsibility for you to cry about later that you had no help. What it really means, right? We're running a ministry here, all right? We should be as focused on our planning as the church is when they plan evangelism. I said it before, but our family planning should be as spiritually and intentional as when the pastor and the elders plan the evangelism series in the church. That's how seriously we need to take this. And we don't. We just let families drop off their kids and leave so they can go grocery shopping or whatever, catch a movie without their kids. It's all right. And then the family networking. The family networking is the biggest thing that we haven't been doing, which we're not bringing the families in on, and we got to do better on this, is that family networking. Family networking will change your church. It can change your community even. And don't skip it. All right. So when you're doing that planning for the year, make sure you have that planned in there. Plan in who's going to watch the kids. Plan what subjects you're going to have, who the guest speakers are going to be. If you need some help planning some ideas, ask your area coordinator. Call the conference youth department. Hey, we need some ideas for it. We'll give you some. Get community leaders in there. Get people in who are, talk to your local Radio Shack. Well, Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. Your local tech guy, right? And ask him, hey, can you come talk to our parent group about child safety things on our devices? Talk to a cop to come in and talk to the parents about, some sort of awareness, DARE program, whatever, drugs, child abductions, whatever. Talk to your kids about bedtime. Talk to your kids, have a discussion about getting the kids to church on time. You'd be shocked. Family building up families, sharing testimonials, working together. Family networking, it changes churches. So, but again, it's all family. Every activity for the whole year, it's family. And then, the big activity end of the year, that's the conference venture family camp, usually at the same time as Pathfinder camp. Not always, but usually. It's about families going. I on the conference side, I just want to smack my head on a wall. Our club can't come. Why not? Well, because some of the families aren't going to be able to go, so we all not coming. Right? I mean, it's about families. Adventure Family Camp is about the families that come, not about the club. Now, we camped them together as a club, so they can support each other, bring one kitchen, not 10 kitchens. But it's not about bringing the whole club. It's about how many families can come. Right? If your church has 30 families and only 27 can come, great. Praise the Lord. Most of them came. Church has 30 families and only 3 came. Well, praise the Lord. We got 3 of them. Churches that we couldn't all go, so we didn't do it. That is just Because we couldn't all get off the Titanic, and none of us are going to get off the Titanic. We're all just going to sink and die. Like, what kind of craziness is this, people? Adventure Families is all about families. If 3 families can come to a conference event and get blessings and built as a family, then send them. But that's the year, from the beginning to the end, every event. How many families can we get there? How do we involve the families? And how do we build the families? You got to answer those questions. And sometimes the activity the only spiritual element of an activity is that you said a prayer at the beginning and end. Okay, that's good. And sometimes it may have a deep spiritual meaning, and that's good too. But every activity needs to begin and end with the family. And your church will grow with the families. And you'll never come crying to the conference again that you're understaffed and you don't have family support. Because you're running a family program. You're organizing a group of families in ministry. You're not in this alone. You're not called to organize 2-3 people to work with these kids for the year. That's not your calling. You're called to organize, to bring together the young families of your church and lead them in family evangelism. That's your ministry. If you just want to lead a few adult leaders and a bunch of children, Pathfinders is your ministry, not Adventures. Adventure is about family. It's all about leading the families. So, I'll have another video. We're going to talk about building families, and we're going to have other videos coming up soon. And as always, you can check out my other videos. You can post stuff in the comments, let people know, share them, whatever. You can disagree with me. You can leave your own testimonials and stuff in the comments. And until next time, we'll talk at my fireside, even though I rarely seem to be talking next to a fireside. But I like the concept. But the lighting's never good, or the bugs are too bad, or too many cars are driving by, or it's too noisy. It's like, man, I need like a fake fire to go behind me. I need a background of a fire. But I'll work on that. But sitting here quietly after the kids have gone to bed seems to be my best option right now. So just remember, involve the families from beginning to end. And God will bless the families immensely. Talk to you later.